Hi, my name is Tibor, and today I'm going to talk about Taurus UCX, Lightware's new USB-C enabled UC room connectivity solution. But before I do that, let me show you how an average UC room solution looks like nowadays. We have a display on the wall and a USB webcam on top of the display, some USB peripherals, a keyboard and a mouse, and hidden in this wall box we have the meeting room PC. This room was designed around the meeting room PC, meaning all of the USB peripherals, the webcam, the keyboard and the mouse are connected to the meeting room PC. So you walk in this room and you're supposed to use the meeting room PC, you turn it on, log into your preferred video conferencing or other services, Zoom, Teams, Skype, company email, Gmail, CRM system, whatever. And you can use the USB peripherals to control the PC, and you can use the webcam to do video conferencing. However, occasionally people bring their own laptops, so they will probably find some sort of universal signal management device. In our case, we have one of Lightware's HD-based transmitters, which offers VGA, DisplayPort, HDMI and analog audio connectivity. And right now we have a single HDMI cable coming from that device. So I can bring my own laptop and I can use that HDMI cable to connect to the wall plate, and I can use the display as an external bigger display. However, my laptop will not get access to the USB peripherals, it will not get wired Ethernet connection, and it will not receive charging. So this is where Taurus UCX comes in the picture. I will quickly modify this room and install Taurus UCX in it so I can show you how the future of UC room solutions looks like. Okay, I could build this system in a matter of minutes. Don't be frightened by the cable mess. I wanted to show all the cables and all the connectors, so if it was a permanent installation, the Taurus UCX would be hidden somewhere and all of the cables would be hidden somewhere. So for this demonstration, we are using the Taurus UCX 4x2 HC30, which is part of the Taurus UCX family, which are connectivity solutions for video, audio, Ethernet, control and power in case of the USB-C cables. From a video perspective, it is a 4x2 switch. So you have two USB-C inputs capable of 4K 60 RGB by using DisplayPort alternate mode. And here you see two HDMI 2.0 input ports. In this demo we are using only one of those input ports. On the output side, you have two HDMI 2.0 output ports, also capable of 4K 60 RGB. Again, we are just using one in this demonstration. From an audio perspective, we have four inputs because the two USB-C cables and the two HDMI cables can carry embedded audio. And on the output side, the two HDMI 2.0 output ports can also carry embedded audio. And here we also have a 5-port Phoenix for de-embedding analog audio signals. From a USB perspective, we have a 4-port hub built in. Here you can see four Type A super speed ports where you can attach the USB peripherals. We have a unifying receiver which is connected to the keyboard and the mouse in this case, and this cable is going to the USB webcam. This is a super speed USB 3 webcam, the Logitech Brio. And inside we have a USB host switch with which you can decide which host computer should get access to the USB peripherals. You can set it up to be automatic, so it has USB follow video functionality, so whichever source is sending its video signal to the screen, it gets control over the USB peripherals, or you can do manual switching as well. From a control perspective, Taurus UCX is going to receive room automation capabilities similar to our other devices which were designed for meeting room spaces, but it's going to come with a firmware release in the future. But the hardware is already in place for it. So we have 6 configurable GPIO ports plus 5 volt and the ground. We have a dedicated occupancy sensor connector and 2 RS-232 connectors. And here you can see 2 RJ45 connectors, and the third one is on the front panel. At the moment, it is just a simple Ethernet switch, but also in the future, with a firmware upgrade, you will be able to give dedicated roles to any of these 3 Ethernet connectors. Now let's see the system. I'm going to put the schematic on the screen for you for a few seconds so that you can check which device is connected to which port, but I will also walk you through it, starting from the display side. So we have the display connected using an HDMI cable, and that goes to output number 1 of the Taurus UCX. We have a long USB cable going behind the screen that is connecting the webcam to the Taurus UCX. And we have another USB peripheral, which is a unifying receiver for the keyboard and the mouse. On the source side, we have a meeting room PC, which is turned off for the moment, and that is connected with 2 cables. The first one is an HDMI cable, and the second one is a super speed type A to type B cable for the USB functionality. Then we have 2 laptops. The first one is a Dell XPS 13, which has a USB-C port on this side and 2 Thunderbolt ports on this side. So this laptop doesn't have traditional HDMI or USB ports, only USB-C ports. And the other device is a MacBook Pro, which has 2 Thunderbolt ports on this side and 2 more Thunderbolt ports on this side. So this laptop doesn't have USB type A or HDMI connectors either. So as I mentioned, Taurus UCX is going to have room automation capabilities coming with a future firmware release. So it could see you walking in using the occupancy sensor signal, and it could turn the lights on and turn the display on. But for this demonstration, I already have those 2 turned on. But the 2 laptops are not connected. As you can see, the 2 USB-C cables are just lying there on the table, and the meeting room PC is turned off, so there is no video signal coming from it. But as you can see, Taurus UCX already displays this welcome message, which you can design on your own to include your company graphics or include any information that would help the users of this room to start the meeting or to control the room. So you can get rid of those printed user guides which you previously put in these rooms, which were meant to help people use this room. So Taurus UCX is set up to be in auto switching mode, which means when it receives a video signal from one of the sources, let's say we turn on the meeting room PC because we don't have a laptop with us, you can see the meeting room PC booting and the welcome screen is now gone, and we see the meeting room PC's image. There is the login screen. And now the USB peripherals, the webcam, the keyboard and the mouse are also connected to Taurus the meeting room PC. And if I start typing, you can see I could type in my password. And if I start moving the mouse, you can see the cursor moving. So if people just want to use the meeting room as before, using the meeting room PC, they can still do that. But let's say somebody wants to use their laptop, and they also want to have access to the USB peripherals. So let's say now we plug in the MacBook Pro, which starts sending a video signal, and the USB-C ports have priority over the HDMI connector of the meeting room PC. So now you can see the image of the MacBook on the display. And now instead of the meeting room PC, now the MacBook has access to the USB peripherals. So if I start moving the mouse, you can see it moving there, and I can also use the Logitech Brio. As you can see, there I am waving at the camera on top of the display, and I could also use the keyboard to type in anything. Now, if somebody else wants to use a USB-C laptop, they can plug in the other cable, which is USB-C input 1. In this demonstration, that has the highest priority. So when there's a video signal coming from the Dell laptop, we see the image coming from the Dell laptop. And now this computer has access to the USB peripherals. So if I start pressing the keys, then we are controlling the Dell laptop, and I can also move the cursor, and I can also switch to the image of the Logitech Brio. Again, there I am waving at the Logitech Brio. Now I would like to show you something special about the USB-C ports of Taurus UCX, and for that I have changed the order of the laptops. So right now the Dell is connected to input number 2 and the MacBook Pro will be connected to input number 1 because I want it to have a higher priority. So right now the keyboard, the mouse and the webcam are connected to the Dell, but let's plug the MacBook Pro back in. In a second we are going to see the image coming from the MacBook. And now the MacBook has access to all of the USB peripherals. But let me point your attention to this corner here. The Dell laptop is still being charged via the USB-C cable by Taurus UCX, and it still gets a wired Ethernet connection also through the USB-C cable. Because Taurus UCX has another USB hub and a USB Ethernet bridge for the two USB-C input ports. So both laptops, even though they are not presenting, they get power and they get Ethernet. So the person who is not presenting, in this case the owner of the Dell laptop, they can still browse or do emails or look for files in their cloud provider, so they can continue their work. And when the MacBook Pro user is done with the presentation, they can switch back to the Dell and the person will already be ready to continue their presentation. So as you can see, Taurus UCX is easy to be installed, easy to be used thanks to the auto switching functionality. It is an amazing one-box connectivity solution for video, audio, USB, control and Ethernet, and it's going to get even better. With future firmware releases, we are going to add Dante audio support, room automation functionality, Zoom integration, Cisco integration, mini web support. So a lot more is coming to the Taurus UCX platform. If you're interested in Taurus UCX, feel free to reach out to your local Lightware representative and we would be happy to help. Welcome to the Age of Taurus.